You might have heard that God had a wife, the goddess Asherah. Up until 100 years ago, the very existence of Asherah was often denied by historians and Bible scholars. However, the discovery of the Ugaritic texts in 1929 revealed a rich mythology about this goddess, eliminating any doubt that the numerous biblical references to Asherah were connected to this same deity. The tablets of Ugaritic provided invaluable proof of a pre-biblical Canaanite pantheon of gods that included not only familiar names like Baal and Dagon, but also the Israelite high god El himself. Asherah, it turns out, was El's wife and a major deity in her own right. Her origins, however, go back much further than Ugaritic. Her name can be found on tablets and inscriptions ranging far and wide, from the ancient Hittite Empire to Syria, Mesopotamia, and southwestern Arabia. However, it was in Israel where Asherah truly found a home and a place in the hearts of her people. Asherah was not merely a Canaanite goddess, she was, in every way that matters, an Israelite goddess. Archaeology and the Bible itself have left behind startling clues about the role of Asherah in the authentic religious practice of Israel and the Jerusalem Temple. Some elements of Asherah worship are hiding in plain sight, disguised by scribal changes and theological stories that conceal their true identity. The oldest known references to Asherah come from Mesopotamia, where she is called by the name Ashratu or Asheratum. She is mentioned in a large variety of inscriptions and cylinder seals as the consort of Amuru, a Babylonian god who personified the West, the land of the Amorites, and was known as the Lord of the Mountain. Ashratu herself bore the epithet Lady of the Steppe, in reference to her origins in the Amorite steppes. Babylonian records indicate that Ashratu was highly venerated during the first Babylonian dynasty, the dynasty of Hammurabi, who was an Amorite himself. Ashratu had her own temple and her own priests in Babylon. Several personal names that include Ashratu as a theophoric element also appear in Babylon during Hammurabi's reign. From Mesopotamia, the worship of Asherah spread to the Hittites and Canaanites. In Ugaritic, she was known as Asherah and was considered the wife of El, the supreme god. In this role, she was called the creatrix of the gods, reflecting her status as the mother of the divine pantheon. The Ugaritic texts also describe her as a nurturing figure, responsible for the well-being of the gods. This nurturing aspect carried over into her worship in Israel, where she was revered as a mother goddess and often associated with trees and fertility symbols. In Israel, Asherah was integrated into the worship of Yahweh, the national god. Archaeological discoveries, such as inscriptions and figurines, suggest that she was considered Yahweh's consort. Some of the most compelling evidence comes from inscriptions found at Kuntilet Ajrud and Khirbet el-Kom, which mention Yahweh and his Asherah. Despite this evidence, Asherah's worship was not without controversy. The Deuteronomist reformers, who sought to centralize worship in Jerusalem and eliminate foreign influences, condemned her veneration. They associated her with idolatry and sought to remove her symbols, such as the Asherah pole, from the temple. Yet traces of Asherah's influence remain in the Bible. She is mentioned in the context of King Asa and the Queen Mother, as well as the 400 prophets of Asherah who were opposed by Elijah. The reforms of King Manasseh and the counter-reforms of King Josiah also highlight the struggle between her worship and the centralizing efforts of the Deuteronomist. Despite these efforts, Asherah's legacy endured. Elements of her worship can be seen in symbols such as the menorah and in Christian art depicting Mary and Jesus. Scholars also suggest that the figure of Lady Wisdom in the Book of Proverbs may have roots in Asherah worship. As we have seen, Asherah was a significant and influential goddess whose presence spanned multiple cultures and regions. Her story is a testament to the rich and complex history of ancient religious practices and their lasting impact on modern faith traditions. Thank you for joining us on this journey to uncover the true origin of Asherah, God's wife.